What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, and I'm Shakira. Check it. I said we're gonna do a backtesting video today, and we are. No joke. I was feeling super lazy, so I almost didn't do it, but I'm here for you, and I'm also here for myself, as we all should be. All right. So don't forget it. Whatever the heck you're doing right now, you're doing it for yourself. Remember that. Remember that. Just do what you do. All right. So check it. So I figured we'd focus on utilizing, as always, price action, but I figured we'd play with the Fibonacci because I'm finding I really like that to kind of figure out my optimal trade entries and just kind of test that out over some of this time, over some of these times. I'm still sorting out the time frames that I like to trading. I know I like to look at the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15, but lately, and I guess this week, I've been looking at the 3 minute for like entries and things like that. So let's see if we can figure out what we want to do on the higher time frames and look for entries on the lower time frames using the OTE. All right. And as always, we're looking for juicy breaks, confluence, multiple things in one place that makes me feel like price might come back up to it. I'm really salty with myself because I had three, count them, 1, 2, and 3 beautiful opportunities, and I did not take them. More things to work through. All right. Well, check it out. Let's take a quick look at what's going on the charts. I have not looked at it today at all. And then let's just jump into some backtesting. All right. If that sounds like a good time, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. All right. Check it out. I'll make myself tiny. Yeah. Sorry, that really tickles my fancy. All right. So let me do this even more tiny. And this is my BTC. Let's see what we've got going on the floor. So we've stagnated. Yay. Well, it looks like we seem to be doing that a lot. The fun question I have though is, can we trade these super stagnant moments right now? Pretty sure scalpers are having a blast, right? As beginners, don't know if I'm a big fan of scalping, but whatever. Let's roll up to the 1 hour. What are we looking at? Wow, price has not moved today. Well, that's not true. It dropped down. Interestingly enough, this is my target from yesterday. Hashtag Safi is like the right below here. Would it have hit it? Almost. I gotta be a little bit more realistic as a beginner. I might, stop trying to go for the gold and just go for what's attainable until I get comfortable with staying in the trades longer. Wow, look at that! Look at that weird wick. They're mean. They're like, no, you're not going any higher. Sellers are like, no. And then buyers are like, well, we're not going any lower, so we're just going to hang out here forever and ever okay, whatever. All right, so since I don't have anything juicy to play with except for this break up here, which they've tapped once, twice, I'll come back to that. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Let's go to the 4 hour on this puppy. Well, wow, it's in the same boat, isn't it? Look at that. See, I'm salty about this. Should have taken that short like I had set up. Looks like today's been pretty quiet on the whole. Small little mini dips here. Oh, similar scenario. Okay, I see you. Honestly, I'm not even going to bother with trade analysis on this tonight. I'm going to look at this tomorrow. But let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the back testing, because that's where it's at, I think. All right, so let's go to the 4 hour and let's do this. Okay, so just for funsies, let's see if we can trade this super boring sideways move, and let's get rid of all these drawings. Trending, trending markets, whether it's trending up or down, those work really well. But fun fact about the optimal trade entry. So if we're going to use the Fibonacci, right? So optimal trade entry for me, will be somewhere in the middle of the 0.8 and the 0.7 on the Fib, right? And, expectation is price is doing something like this, drop back down, whatever, and then it's busted through, and then I wanted to trade back up into my optimal trade entry area, boom, and then give me some sort of, confirmation about, it's going down. I'm yelling timber. Well, that means that like somewhere in the middle of this space, I'm hoping I have confluence with, like, for example, here's this break right here. If it coincides with the OTE area, if there's a breaker block, imbalance in that space, it's got multiple little things to kind of tell me, yeah, I want to get in and then get out. I want to get in and have a target like a nice imbalance or an equal lows area. Do we have one down here to play with? Sort of. Prices busted down here a few times. Yeah. Um, so that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We're looking for, and let me, right in the middle of this space, let me just do this, right? So we're looking for some reason. So imbalance, order block, breaker block, mitigation block, just multiple things to make that particular area feel like it's a good spot. Plus, once price rolls back into this space, right, then we want it to turn around, like give us something. I don't know, a double top on the lower time frames, like on the 3 minute, or a candlestick pattern, like a bearish engulfing if we're going down, bullish engulfing if we're going up, something like that. So let's see if we can't find something like that to play with. All right. So that's what I've been doing this week, and I had a couple of decent things, and I think on my vid yesterday I had my orders submitted, but I have this tendency, and it's something I need to work through. Like, if I'd set it in the middle of my OTE area here, I would have tapped it perfectly and then dropped like a stone to my take profit. But now I wanted it up here, you know? And sometimes it does. It does go up there. Price can do whatever it wants. But um neither of those orders would have been hit yesterday because I was looking for the optimal price so that my stop loss for where I wanted to put it wouldn't be as far away percentage wise, because that always hurts my heart. Like, for all these trades you have to give the stop loss room to breathe, you know and sometimes that room to breathe can be like 6% away. Because if you take that, for example, if you take this swing low and you do one ATR, it might be over here, right? You just don't know. So you need to give it room to breathe so that the trade can play out. Actually, that's what I did on my Monday trade, where I actually violated my own process, which was to only use 25% of my assets, and I used 50%. And then that meant that that 6% loss was much bigger than it needed to have been. So I'm still recovering from that, but that's okay. At this point, I'm only down, what, 26 cents? Or 26 USDT? Whatever. All right. That was a lot of rambling on. So let's hit the replay button and let's go hang out in this super boring space. Okay. So we're in a super boring space. It's all flat. So in that case, let's drop down to the 15 minute, and we might be able to see some more exciting things down here to play with and utilize the OTE. Well, the reverse OTE is it's almost the same, except it's find like well, we can talk about that in another video. Let me know down in the comments if you want to talk about that. I'm also going to continue dropping Meet Kaplan's price action stuff for your use. Okay, so sideways, 15 minutes. Let's kind of eke out our supply and demand areas, right? Okay, let's look to the left, scroll on down. So we're close to this. There's this juicy thing all the way down here. And there's a supply area that's kind of closer to price. So let's focus on where price is for the moment. And let's say we have this demand area right here. All right. And there's a little juicy little imbalance attached to it. There's also another one further down. Well, let's focus on what we can play with. And then I want to see if there's a supply area on the top of this that we can use as a play or kind of gameplay area, right? So we have this break up here. It's juicy. So there's a little tiny supply area up here, approximately. So let's do that. All right, so then that means that looks like we're coiling down to this demand area. So this is going to be our gameplay box. Did I create a gameplay? Yes, okay, perfect. All right, so now we have just come up into this. All right, so there's two things happening here. There's this juicy break right here, and then there's this juicy break up here. So we have two potentials. We have this one up here with that supply area, and I'm just going to mark them out so we have them handy. I like the top one better. Why? Because there's an actual imbalance still left in that space. I'm using the 50 just as like a point of reference. The VWAP is the blue, 50's in yellow. VWAP on lower time frames, I'm finding and testing out, obviously, how well it works as like a trend direction from under like 15 minutes, right? So right now, prices is below the VWAP and it's also below the 50. And we've just kind of coiled back up. So I'm going to go down to the 3 minutes. Oh, goody. We're close enough that we can get away with this. All right. So in accordance with this process, we would take from there and drop it down the Fibonacci. I'm using the bodies and not the wicks, the lowest low here. So that means that we've just come in, if this is the correct location, we've just come in to our optimal trade entry. What else do we have? Oh, look, we have, and we've got a breaker block right here, failed order block. Perfect, right in the middle of that thing. What else? Looks like we might even have a supply and support resistance flip actually. So let's draw that over. I think it needs to be higher actually, like something like that. Encompass that. And then let's come over, drag it over. Yep. Okay, good. So we have a couple confluences here, right? So this liquidity to be eaten up here, right? So they've eaten this liquidity here and they've come into the OTE area. So I'm feeling like there's this imbalance. They might want to eat that, but the VWAP is saying it's going down. And since we're on the 3 minute, I'm going to drop the 50 off of here just so I don't confuse myself. Mostly care about it on the higher time frames, not on the 3 minute. But the VWAP is all the way down here and it's up here and it's telling me we're going down. I'm yelling timber. The question is, are we coming back up to retest this? And let me also look at what we're seeing here. So made a low, lower low, made a higher low, obviously because we're rolling back up. So my expectation is, let's see, I want a red candle or something, or I could set a limit order, right, from in this space. So let's see what the candles are doing. So it's tapped it in here. We could potentially look for another break inside of here. So what? Something like this. And then we could enter somewhere in here, like a mini market structure break, you know? All right, so we've got that. We've done this. Let's see. These candles are saying, okay. You know, if you're really risque, you could have set a limit order, boom, you know? All right, so we're coming back up. We need confirmation. We can't just jump in, right? Is that stuck? Zoom in a little bit. How about you? But my eyes are like, what? Let's make that a little brighter. Wow, yeah, that is giving me a big hell no, we won't go any higher look. So let's say that's a pretty good reason to get in here. I still haven't seen like some sort of break, and that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It could, but let's say I'm a risque person and I wanted my middle of this entry anyway. So without the break, then my stop loss would be above this guy, and my take profit, I like a 1 to 2, would be about there. And if I'm really feeling it, this 0.27. Now, this is the thing I need to work out, right? I keep wanting to do exactly what I just did right there and not getting the confirmation, right? So there's no guarantee it's going to work. So let's see what the next candle says. But, you know, based on my current trading strategy, I would already be in here. I would have set a stop limit order. So I'd already be in here. So let's see how that plays out, because I could just easily get stopped out because, you know, it is making it's making higher lows. Now let's think about it this way, right? It did this, it made this break right here. And then it broke through that, so not that one. And then it made this break. We could have entered right here as well if I'd waited, right? For that lower time frame connection. Now let's see if that plays out. So two options. Oops, looks like we are going to be wrong. Let me scroll up. We haven't been stopped out yet, but it's feeling like it's coming. What do you guys think? This is that sideways business that I don't like. Oh, hello. Okay. All right, hold on. Let's scroll over. So we're well into this. Um, Given how close this was, and then we finally dropped and did this, I would have moved my stop loss to above this VWAP right here, at least a tiny bit into profit just to see. Now, most folks could have taken their profits. Oops, sorry. You know, could have and should have taken the profit at like the 0.2 right here, because that's where price was hanging out. Um, and look at that. Look at how despicable. Price came right up to the top of the fib. Look at that. So that's why you give it a little room to breathe, right? But I like the 0.2. I like the 2%. But the 2% needs to also coincide with something useful, right? So, like maybe even this the bottom of this thing right here where price has hung out. Look how close it came. All right, let's see. Now, fun fact, just because we're in this particular trade doesn't mean that we can't like back out and find something else that's worthwhile. But let's let this particular one play out. Because I feel like, okay, so that's where we would have taken our profit. Now, how long did that take to go from? Because, I'm thinking to myself, we entered here with this wick because stop limit order. I kind of like those. 9 hours and 6 minutes, y'all. I mean, that's rough. That is rough. Okay, let's do a quick time check. 18 minutes. All right, cool. Let's see if we can't find something else juicy. Let's go back up to the 15-minute on this one. We are in our gameplay area. Nice. So let's get rid of this fib right here. And we're still in our SR area. So they didn't want the supply area. That's what I was saying. We just got to see what it does first before we just enter. Yeah. All right. So now, we have this break right here, and then this one's forming. So, secondary option, they've sort of already come into it a little bit, right? Let's see. So supply area, it had the imbalance. Let's draw a fib from the top of this thing to this bottom area here. All right, and then let's drop down to, okay, so we just missed it, looks like. And we had this breaker block area as well, imbalance, all that good stuff. All right, so let's get on to the 3 minute. What does that even look like? So down to the 3 minutes. So we had this break, then we're looking for another break. Okay, so we had this juicy break. They traded past it. We had this break, they traded past it. And now there's this break right here, potential. Now, if we just set a limit order to the center of this thing like I like, man, living on the edge, right? Then I would have been like, okay, put it above that, and then give me a 1 to 2. And looks like that would have played out very nicely. Not to mention that you could also have, look at that equal lows area here. Huh. Interesting thought. Let's see, equal lows, plus past the 0.5, come back up to the OTE area, enter there, and then write it back down. That's another potential option. I like that, but they have not come back up, which means that a limit order would have been best in this situation. Yeah, limit order with a stop loss at least above the supply area. If it passed that, well, damn, we kind of screwed. Anyway, okay, so now we have this other one. Let's change that. Maybe we can get this one to roll the way we want it to. In which case, or fibby would be the top of this thing to the bottom of the body of this. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm dropping it on the 3 minutes because we know we're in the gameplay area. We're going down until we get to, let me scroll down to this supply demand area. So I'm just going to ride the wave all the way down. Okay. So this one's a minorly tricky because there's another break here and a nice imbalance that's still about a half of it left, a quarter? A quarter, yeah. So here we have our supply area. Now, I personally feel like they might spike up, eat this, and then come back down, but that's just me. What else we got? We've got a breaker block in this area as well, and the imbalance down below, and we're trading below the VWAP, so potential entry should be in here. So let's see if so I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this, come back up into this, and maybe even spike up a little bit. Come back up into this area, maybe even bust past the 0.5, come up there, and then write it back down, potentially. Half the problem is, price is going to do what it wants to do. Now, that is very bearish engulfing. But guess what? It's in the middle of nowhere. So I am not touching it. See? It's got to be someplace useful. Okay, so we're trading back up. Okay, we're making another break, looks like. Okay, all right, so we made this other break. So here's a secondary potential, right? We have two options. We have this guy with this up here with a 1 to 2 about there. Okay, actually, is that, yeah, about there. Then, and let me get rid of this one, just since we have our options. And then we have a new break right here. Let's draw a different fib on the top of this guy. And a little right there, little guy. So then on the second option, that looks very bullish. Look at that. Nothing on the top. Second option is in between this guy, drop it above that, continue. A 1 to 2 puts me about at the base of that. All right. So two options. Now this looks pretty bullish. So for this one, no limit order. I'm just going to wait and see how that plays out on the 3 minutes because not everything's going to work. This one's close. There's a juicy one up here. So I'm rooting for this guy, but they made a lower high. So we'll see what they do. Okay. All right. So they ate that. Okay. All right. See, I knew it. They're climbing up for this one. Perfect. So let's get rid of that option. All right, so let's see. Let's put our fib back on so I can just see right there. Perfect. So I wanted right in the middle an entry there. So let's see if we can't see some kind of, and sometimes you miss it. Sometimes you just miss it. This one tapped the 0.7. That's very, that's very bearish engulfing, and it's in my general vicinity. What I'm going to look for is, well, hold on. Am I missing something? There's this guy. Let's see what it does because it could be trying to go back up or I could have just missed it. Okay, looks like we're going back up. See if we get a nice break for an entry. All right. So it's coiling up. Okay, so now we're cooking with a little Crisco. So we're finally getting what looks like it could be a break. That means that the entry could be somewhere down here. So then I'll be looking for it to come back up. Let's say right here. Then I can put it above this guy and then write it down to about there. What do you guys think? Let's see. Do we get it? Okay, we're in. Look at that. Perfect. Press play. Could also be wrong. Oh, stopped out. But we got a little ways in. What was this, a 1 to 3? What happened to my 1 to 2? Oh, guys, look what I did to myself. That's why you gotta stick to your 1 to 2, man. Because you came in here, you would have, what? We got in here. 1 to 2 would have hooked us up in 39 minutes. Boom. Think I like 1 to 2. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Um, and definitely an interesting choice for price action. Let's clear out all of this stuff really quickly. And look, it's rolled itself up to the my first option for a supply area, and it's just popped up above the VWAP. So one last thing. Let's see if we can't write this puppy down potentially. But everything everything is based off of, let's put this back in the bottom right there. Okay. So our optimal entry is down here. So let's see if price is going to turn around. And they've eaten an imbalance. We had a breaker block and what looks to be a, well, they've hunted the liquidity in here, which is good. So we might be going down. All right. Or it might be coiling up to this other one up here. Let's see. Oh, hello. All right. So this is not the right one. Let's get rid of that. All right. And that might be the end of this. That is a double bottom on that guy. Oh, interesting. All right. Looks like we're coiling back up. What's the next candle? Okay, so we're in this supply area. There is an imbalance here, so okay. Now let's zoom in. Now, if I was crazy, let's say I am bearish engulfing on this strong upward push, let's draw our fibby just to be sure. And I think that was from there. My OTE is pretty much where it is right now. All right, so let's say I'm going to use this candlestick pattern, drop this above here, and let's coil on down to a 1 to 2. Okay. And I could be wrong. I just want to make sure I am posting above this imbalance. Let's press play. Okay, so now here's one thing I'm doing wrong at this point. The VWAP, it's trading above the VWAP, which means price is most likely gonna continue on higher. However, we've just made a lower high from this guy. So let's let that play on. Made a low. Come on. Yeah, there it goes. And I'm stopped out. Okay. Yeah, I was like following the VWAP, I should have been taking the long. But that's why we're testing this out. All right. And now we're back up into, let's see. Let's go back to 15 minutes. Where are we in the grand scheme of the gameplay box? Dead center. Fun. All right, well, do have the general idea of how the OTE works. We see that it doesn't work all the time. We see that we need to have confirmation because without confirmation, we'll get stopped out. And respect the VWAP on the lower time frames. So if price is now trading above the VWAP, then what should we have been doing? We should have been looking for longs. So like, for example, this break right here. Let's just draw that out. So we have this demand area right here. We had the imbalance. If I had drawn my OTE, sorry, my Fibby, the base of this thing, I think, to the top of this thing. Perfect. Then the OTE would have been, zoom in here. I would have liked the center of this approximately would be there, but then this imbalance in the center of the imbalance is always a good plan too. So the 0.7, and that would have given us this with that just below this guy and a 1 to 2. Pretty quick, eh? Look at that. 1 to 2. Bam. Quick and dirty. So from this guy, what would have taken 33 minutes. Okay. Interesting. All right. So I hope that is interesting and helpful for all of you guys. It is a Friday night after Thanksgiving in the US. So all you folks who were out having a good old time, I hope you enjoyed it. Ooh, is there a new season of Van Helsing? I might be watching that later. All right, guys. I am going to be back in the morning. I will be doing my morning routine, trade analysis to see what I can get away with on the weekends. Now, be careful. The weekends are treacherous. There is no markets besides the crypto market, so they can just do whatever the heck they want. No influences from Asia, New York, Tokyo. Well, Tokyo's in Asia, Sydney, or Europe, whatever. No news, just pure trading. So please be careful, all right? Please be careful. As I will also need to be careful. Anyway, keep practicing, keep doing, keep at it every day. And just like me, I'm over here trying to learn and grow and be better. Don't get discouraged, all right? Don't do it. Because what is it? I don't even know what the percentage is. Something about like 99% of people who try to become traders fail miserably. That's not us. All right. Recognize we are in that 1% that's going to be making that mun. Yes, I said muns. Don't judge me. And you know you secretly love it, right? All right. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm going to drop a link at the end of this video to meet Kaplan's price action stuff. Do it in order. Trust me, it is awesome. And then you can figure out your own process after that, right? Just understanding how the market works is the best. All right. The best thing you can do for yourself. All right. So I'm trying not to be an old lady and go to sleep before 8 p.m. on a Friday night because I think I was in bed at 8:30 last night. Ooh. But in any case, all right. I hope this was helpful. Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe, whatever you feel like. I appreciate you joining me on my journey. All right. Shakira out.